Norberto, before we go, you and I are embarking upon a project, and I know that it's still in the infant stage, and we can't go into a lot of details, but share just a couple of minutes with the audience what it is we are attempting to get done.
Well, remember that I said a few minutes ago that I feel that I'm a Robin Hood architect. And I feel motivated by your passion, and your commitment to work with the homeless. And it's something that I feel, and sometimes I criticize my colleagues because there are many talented colleagues that I have, very talented, that they can contribute with their talent to reduce the suffering of many groups in our society, particularly in a wealthy country like the United States, which is personally unacceptable that we have the number of people suffering housing problems. I felt very motivated when I met you. And that's what I decided to contribute on what I know, that is designing. So we start with this analyzing options to develop this housing for the homeless. But this is part of our discussion with you, not only to provide a place where they can live in transition or permanently, depending how they will be developed, but as well what can receive what they need to receive. That is some training of the PTSD that 90% of the homeless population is suffering. So we are creating this working model, or that's the intention, where we are combining spaces, and now we are going back to the concept of spaces, where the homeless will be housed, but as well where they can perform activities that will allow them not only to deal with their PTSD, but as well allow them to maybe return in a more healthy and hopeful way to a society, that they are not excluded by decision or by need, whatever it is. So that's what we are working with. You're right. We are exploring options. I am super excited to cooperate with you in this one. And I hope that we can turn into a reality.
And
It's complicated,
yes,
require the collaboration of different levels from governments in terms of approvals, landowners in terms of contributions and openness, in terms of potential investors or donors that can help to build these units. But I think that this an unexcusable position that this society has to face. And the problem is, and that's what I love what you're doing, is not just the government responsibility, it's the community responsibility. Because it's very easy for a merchant who complain because a homeless is sleeping in front of his shop window. And I understand. I'm not saying that it's nice, it's good.
right,
But on the other side, rejection is not the solution.
absolutely.
And I think it has to be done. I know that I'm not preaching to you because that's what you are doing and that's what you know, but I'm bringing the voice from another side.
Yeah,
I'm not doing your job.
no, but you're not doing my job, but you educating and helping me also, because you said something to me that was quite touching and quite made a lot of sense to me about trying to get people to contribute to the work that we do. And I always brag to you on my good Jewish friend, Attorney John Eisen, who has done so much for our organization. And you really opened my eyes, because in talking to you and telling you how we met and when he began to contribute, I noticed that you said something. John came to a homeless party and he actually volunteered. And we went back yesterday, and I asked him, "Who did you bring with you?" Because he brought several volunteers with him, Norberto, and one of them was an architect by the name of Jeff Kalban, Kalban. These guys came to the homeless party, participated in what we were doing, saw what we were doing with their own eyes, got their hands dirty, and 2 or 3 weeks later, John started contributing to what we do at Yes We Can Worship Center. So I've learned a lot from you, and I know that in order to get this done, we're going to need support from community colleges and things of that nature. Unpack that just a little bit for me. Once we get to that stage, how do you think community colleges might be able to contribute as we close?
Well, community college can offer two things. One, within their own academic programs. You know, the young generation is a spoiled generation. In many ways, this country, and now you take a look around the world, this country has been spared to be dealing the war confrontation that many other countries are suffering. So our young generation is spoiled. So the first thing is within the colleges is to reach the academic programs, and that's something that can be done to motivate the young generation to understand what, and you don't need to be a socialist, you don't need to be a communist, you don't need to be extreme liberal. It's a common sense, it's a human response. So this is one dimension of the interaction with the college. The other one is how the students, particularly in community colleges, that they are doing some applied research. And I call applied research because they work in mechanical services, they work in carpentry, they work in many things that they are learning in the vocational schools. They can contribute as well to build some of these homes. Simple, straightforward, nice to see, simple to do it. And this has become a workforce that always will be helping you and helping the cause. So I think, and plus, and this is the last one,
Okay.
colleges and universities, they have a voice that they can distribute through different ways, through their websites, then it becomes a marginal PR activity that is needed for whatever you and people like you are trying to do. Okay? We discussed the other day that in order to get support and contributions, is needed exposure,
Right.
validation,
Yes.
experience,
Yes.
and all of the above is super important for this process. So that's what the colleges can. And I'm going this Friday. I will be in San Diego, invited by one school, very well known, and I will make a presentation. And that school has been acquired by an investment group, and I will try to motivate them to contribute to our endeavor.
Wonderful.
So
Wonderful.
this is what I see.
Wonderful. And by the way, when this podcast is produced, and you know, I have the best producer in the world, Felicia Morris with Morris Productions, Morris Media, actually. When it's produced, I'll be sure to get you a copy, and you can send it to some of your friends, like your great friend Saul Levitt, who helped us the other day, and others. We can't leave without mentioning your wife, Marlene. Tell me something about your wife.
Marlene is half Portuguese. No, I will start with the real half.
Okay.
Half Jamaican and half Portuguese.
Uh-huh.
And she's a person of color.
Mm-hmm.
That I hate that definition, but I don't know how to say it. Because I am a person of color too, so I don't know how you call a person of color. But anyway, that's the public statement. Who has been as well bringing to my life to understand many other things. We are coming from two different cultures, absolutely different cultures.
Yes.
And people don't understand that probably the intercultural connection is more complicated than the interracial connection. People feel that different color of skin made the thing more difficult. It's wrong. I'm sorry, I think it's wrong. I think it's wrong. What made the thing different is the culture you are coming from. So the way that you've been raised, the way that you've been eating, the way that you are, your taste, your like. So for me, to be around her was an incredible learning process and learning curve.
Mm.
So I'm very happy to experience that. And that's why if I have to talk about her, is what I would like to say. She's spicy, strong, opinionated, fighter, etc., which I like it because like she always said, it's never a boring moment in our life. When you describe this one, it's kind of a silly because sometimes the no boring means that we are confronting with each other, but it's okay.
Right.
I have 6 kids. 3, listen this, Sherman, 3 are psychologists.
Oh my God.
3.
Okay.
No one, not 3. Half of my kids are psychologists.
Wow.
So I don't need to tell you how they, manipulate me and shake me up, and they get connected with her too, and it's a very interesting. And my oldest daughter, the one who has been collaborating with me on the book, said, that as a psychologist, I will tell you something.
Okay.
Conflict in a marriage, conflict in a couple relationship is an indication of connection. Even the disagreement is a connection.
Mm.
So don't disregard that it's always a problem. And that's it. Okay. That's an interesting approach.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. Right. Well, listen.
That I should learn before I got divorced, because I did. So it's true. It's true.
Okay.
So
Well,
that's what I can tell about Monday.
well, listen, it's been great. It's been fascinating. The next time I have you on, I'm going to ask you to bring your violin and you can do a number for us.
Okay.
But and I know your granddaughter Maya. She plays violin also.
Yeah.
How's she doing?
Oh, she's doing great. She has been accepted now. She's 14. I am her coach. I am not the professor. She has the first violin of the symphony is the official professor, but I'm coaching her every week for an hour and a half. And we play duet together. We recorded, and for me, has been one of the great stories of my life.
Wow.
Really, I'd say that because number one is the only dedicated musician of my entire family, other than me and my brother.
Wow.
So I'm excited. She's doing fantastic.
Well,
Fantastic.
last 2 minutes, Norberto. Anything you'd like to say before we go? I know we covered a lot of ground, but last words. Anything else you'd like to say?
Well, number one, thank you, Sherman. And I know that the audience must know that you're a smart cookie. And I like that.
Well, thank you.
I like to be dealing which are not necessarily passionate, but they have the ability to express it. And the second one is to make an open invitation to the audience to understand that beyond architecture, beyond any expression of development, etc., we need to pay attention to people, and we need to pay attention how people should be housed decently and accordingly what they need. And that's why your effort to create this housing project for the homeless is for me of foremost importance to follow and support. That's all what I can say.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for coming, ladies and gentlemen. Norberto Nardi, he's the author of Listen to the Walls Talk, And I concur with his assessment that we need to get back to reading. We need to read by any means necessary. And if I can use my voice to help put this book out there, even with the audiobook, I'm willing to do so. I want people to read this book. It is a great book. I'm going to have him back again soon. Remember, if you'd like to participate in our project that's in the infant stages, you can go to yeswecanworshipcenter.org, take a look at what we're doing. And if you have any ideas for your college program that you might be able to help us with to participate and collaborate with what we're doing, we need you to do so. Pastors, preachers, teachers, leaders, get this book. Listen to The Walls Talk by Norberto Nardi. Please remember that we can make a difference. We can feed the hungry. We can house the homeless. We can make this world a better place. We can do it together. Yes, we can.
Gosh, your body.